Hi everyone, my name is Taofiq and I'm founder and CEO of Spiral Blue. At Spiral Blue, I'm committed to bringing businesses, governments and defense agencies the right information at the right time with our next-gen Earth observation. We're making this possible with what we're building, which is called Space Edge Services. We've identified a few problems in the Earth observation industry, which we are looking to tackle. So, an interesting fact is that even though satellite-based Earth observation is so well known, um, at least in the space industry, it's not actually a huge part of Earth observation. It only makes up a $3.7 billion segment of the overall $76 billion Earth observation market. And this is because of various reasons. Ultimately, Earth observation data from satellites is actually quite expensive. And this is because Earth observation satellites can only bring down so much data per day. And because these satellites are usually a massive upfront cost, that cost needs to be spread out over the life of the satellite. And if you're not collecting that much data, that means each unit of data that you bring down is actually going to be quite expensive. And the other factor for this lack of adoption is that satellite Earth observation data is typically brought down as raw data, which needs a lot of expertise, a lot of infrastructure to actually get processed. And if we think about a typical Earth observation use case such as weather data, imagine if you had to get training as a meteorologist, download all of the data from weather stations, satellites, radars, and all these kind of data sources, process the data yourself on your own computer, and only then you know what the actual weather report is. Imagine if you had to do that. No one would use the weather. No one would get the weather report. So we are changing this with what we're calling Space Edge services. So by placing we are building Space Edge computers, which are essentially small supercomputers, and we're placing these on Earth observation satellites in the future. And by doing this, we will actually be able to process a lot of this data on the satellite itself, so that users can actually receive insights and information rather than raw data. And because insights and information are actually much smaller in size than raw data, the satellite is capable of capturing much more raw data, processing it into much more efficient, much more smaller insights and information, and sending that down instead of just raw data. And this allows us to massively reduce costs as well as improve accessibility. And I guess the question for this event is really, how did we come across this idea? So myself, as the founder of Spiral Blue, I started looking into Earth observation quite a while ago, late 2017, and I thought about what would actually be possible with Earth observation. And I realized that ultimately, there's a lot of things that could be done. We could even do applications as mundane as trying to figure out if parking is available in an area. And I thought about, really, really deeply, I thought about, well, what other applications could be done? And having thought about these applications, this included areas as diverse as agriculture and defense and maritime surveillance. And what I did was I actually tried to get out of my house and talk to as many of these individuals working in these areas as possible. And over the course of 2-3 years, I talked to hundreds of these people. And in so doing, that's how I was able to actually identify that this problem of customers wanting information, not data, and also that Earth observation satellites are bottlenecked on downlink, that's how I was actually able to find these problems. And from there, once I knew these problems, it was quite simple to come up with the solution. It really is the problem that matters the most, in my experience. So get out there, talk to as many people as you can, and just see what you can find. Anyway, my name is Taofiq, founder and CEO of Spiral Blue. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn and let's have a chat. Thanks a lot for listening.